So we showed you a lot of cool effects on how to do all these awesome things. One of these things that I actually learned on was credit cards, okay? No, I wasn't making credit cards, okay? What we would do is we'd have to create these credit cards. You know, if we're doing some credit card ad, we'd have to go ahead and create some fake number. And back then, back in the day, this was like 1740 when we were just starting to use computers, it was very difficult to photograph a credit card because you'd have to have a credit card made with a gold stamping and everything, so we had to create our own credit cards. And so trying to make the gold letters look really realistic is really hard, you know, because just doing a bevel and emboss, because it's not just like a little rounded thing, there's all these complex highlights that go on with one of these things, okay? So all we did is put the type in here, and I realized, and this was years ago, this was like, I was like 3 years old, I realized that this is where I found out about the whole contour thing. So if I go into my effects here and I do the bevel and emboss, and I just do the normal bevel and emboss on there, it's like, okay, that's what it is. And yeah, okay, that kind of looks like kind of, you know, plastic melty type. But that isn't good enough. So when I go into the bevel and emboss, what I did was on the contour here is I started messing with the different contour surfaces to see which one was going to actually give me kind of that highly reflective gold effect, okay? The ones with the too many surfaces there really didn't work, but I noticed that some of these, actually with these kind of irregular contours on there, kind of gave that interesting effect. And I would try one like this, and I would begin to adjust it. And with this, I've got this, and I think I want to soften this ever so slightly. I would go and do that, and then I would see, and it's like, oh, now I begin to see how this actually works. And then if you did other stuff like a slight little shadow around there, all around there, it actually would make it look like it was coming up out of the plastic a little bit. So with this, I'd go back into my effects, and then I would put kind of an outer glow around here. And an outer glow, because it's screen mode and white, shows up on this background. But what I would do is you throw a little bit of noise in there and then kind of control the size. And it's a very, very, very subtle effect. Okay, and I'll show you how subtle it is. Up close you can see it, but you do that and it's amazing that when you look at it back here, how it just very subtly changes the effect. And these are the kind of things that you can go online and learn from tens of thousands of people that do all this kind of thing. And now once I have this formula for gold, I could totally forget about it because now I could just option click and drag and put it on Mona Terry's name, like that. And I realized it's like, oh, this doesn't look as good, which is why I would go in and I would adjust the scale of this in here. So I'd click on there and I would scale the effects and I would scale them up or down to see where I'm going to get that right amount of kind of embossed look to make it look like it's actually working. And if I were to go in and I were to change the type here as well, I would notice that when I change the type, it's also going to change the entire effect, so I'd have to adjust accordingly. Yeah, and it's just those little teeny things that you learn about.